Welcome to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming with your hosts, Taylor
and Q.
Nuclear launch detected.
90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming does not represent the views of WWSP, 90 FM, or the University of Wisconsin school system. The views expressed and the information given in this broadcast can be used at the sole risk of the listener.
Listening to this broadcast is guaranteed to increase your wisdom by 5 points.
The Enrichment Center is required to remind you that you will be baked, and then there will be cake.
Hey, listen!
Hello and welcome to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on WWSP Stevens Point. That's 90 FM, your only alternative in this case. It's your only alternative for gaming. I am one of your hosts, Taylor, alongside co-host
Q.
And I believe we have a returning guest this week. Yeah. Mr. Cameron Morse. He enjoyed it so much he did it twice.
Yes,
it's awesome.
He's here. Once he sits down, his microphone will be nicely turned on.
So nice you have to go twice.
Whoa. Oh. All right. Yes. As most of our listeners would know, I'm assuming, we are currently T-minus like about 36 hours-ish away from Skyrim being out.
Yeah.
And I don't think about too much else at this point in time.
No.
Yeah.
I don't. A majority of people who are going to be buying the game are not going to be doing anything else besides playing this game.
That is this weekend for me.
I was forced to do my speech for Com 101 practice over this weekend. So.
You know what you can do? You can practice while you play.
No, it's a group speech.
Oh.
Just have them sit there while you play.
Yeah, just have the game on mute, and then, just kind of play in the background.
Mute? Why would you mute the music of Skyrim?
Well, if you have to, I'm saying. If you have to work on some real-life project, you might as well find a way to at least incorporate a little bit of Skyrim into it.
Maybe.
But even this close, there are all sorts of news stories coming out about Skyrim.
Yes,
I guess not even this close, especially this close, really. The biggest one is that it's finally gold. It is finally a finished product. We're not going to have to worry about anything getting pushed back last second on us.
Patch 1.1.
Yeah, we have already been announced, or heard the announcement, that there's going to be a first day patch for bugs and stuff.
Yeah, so the game, they already knew that stuff didn't work.
But I mean, it's so big. It's so dang big.
Yeah.
You're going to have bugs.
No, the game is massive. They officially announced to us a long time ago that the game would actually be very small in the actual size
but much
on your
more
hard
dense,
drive.
much more
But
full.
what they were doing with it is they figured out a better way to basically encrypt graphics files and sound files to make them smaller. So, and that most of the time, graphics and sound are the bulk of the game actual files.
And this time especially so. They have been talking about the work they did for, especially the music and the voice acting. The voice acting is
Christopher Plummer. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of big people.
It's so much better than Oblivion. Like I can't even compare the two at this point.
No.
Like in Oblivion, they did have Patrick Stewart, and I think didn't they have like one other voice?
They had Sean Bean.
Sean Bean, okay.
Patrick Stewart and Sean Bean were the two main characters.
Yep, and then this time around, they have a lot of people,
yeah.
and they all do great.
That was one of the biggest complaints, and one of the only complaints I had with Oblivion was there wasn't enough voice actors.
Yeah.
I'd walk around the city, and I'd run into the same person 3 or 4 times talking. They'd be playing a different character, but you'd still know they were the same person talking.
My favorite was when halfway through, like, someone's lines, like, their voice would just change.
Yeah.
Like, you would have a character who would be saying something, and suddenly the next line would be a totally different person talking, and they'd, like, switch from calm to panicked in, like, one word, and it was awesome. Those are my absolute favorite little issues that they had.
Swedish thespian Max von Sydow is also in there.
I'm afraid I don't brush up on my Swedish thespians too often, so...
He's a big actor.
Okay. Anything specific he's in that you would recognize, most people would recognize?
Swedish movies.
Oh, okay. I should have figured, I guess.
The Seventh Seal, Ingmar Bergman directed
Okay.
it. The Exorcist, Strange Brew.
Oh wow, yeah. So
I know those films.
he's been in some big movies.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I'm so glad that video games are getting that kind of stuff because I mean, Oblivion, it had an amazing story, but it's hard to take some things seriously when it's not delivered properly.
Yeah, it's like when you have Christopher Plummer. I know there was a lot of people talking.
Oh, his voice sounds awesome on it.
Well,
It is
first of all,
insane.
Christopher Plummer's voice, being the age he is just so like renowned in its deepness.
Hearing that guy talk about like the return of dragons and stuff like that, it's just insane. Like it's honestly like watching a Lord of the Rings trailer at this point, which is awesome. It's very cool.
The Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, is also a voice.
Yep.
She plays a couple of female characters. Michael Hogan, Vladimir Kulich, Claudia Christian, Diane Salinger, Renee Victor, and George Coe are all moderate, medium-sized actors.
Yeah.
They're all
so they're not very big.
well. They're not like Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
All right.
When you say Christopher Plummer's name, you can visualize him.
I
in
know.
your head.
I just visualized when you said medium-sized.
They're
actors.
actually like smaller people.
Like
They're like
dogs.
between like
Small
5'6" and
people.
5'8".
Joan Allen, the lady from the Bourne films.
Oh, really?
Sweet.
The CIA director
Yeah.
from the Bourne films. She's in this. The list just goes on and on and on. And there's probably a lot of people who didn't tell us.
A lot of people who do very good at accents too, because apparently they kind of switched, not last second, but it was apparently a later thought to actually have all the characters try to go for a Nordic attitude for it, because it is the North Country for the overall map of whatever the whole world is called. Is it Tamriel? Or is that-
Tamriel's the whole place.
Yeah, okay.
I think.
It's something like
we're
that.
We're not the lore people that other places.
I tried to read up on it, but there's so much. There's so much.
Yeah. Christopher Plummer is going to be in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Okay.
That's the next thing he's going to be doing.
It's that book I didn't read.
That book that I want to read, but I didn't.
They're making another movie of that.
It's like The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. It's like a sequel.
Oh,
I think there's a
they're
trilogy.
making an American. They're making the American version.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
was gonna
Yeah.
say, didn't that movie just come out a couple years ago?
Bond, the new Bond. Who's the new Bond?
The guy.
Oh,
Daniel Craig.
yep,
Yeah,
Daniel Craig.
he's going to be in that. There's a lot of really big people.
Yep.
Supposedly they're putting it together. It's supposed to be really good. But we're not here talking about movies.
We are not. But at this point, we're talking about things that are approaching movies.
Did we even say anything about we didn't do our normal opener, do we?
Oh, we
just started
didn't.
talking about Skyrim.
Yeah, we're just too excited. Too caught up in it.
Yeah, you're listening to 9 terabytes of alternative gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative. This
For
is
gaming.
WWSP at Stevens Point. Our views are purely our own. They don't reflect anybody else in the entire planet anywhere. Our views are purely our own. They don't reflect WWSP Stevens Point. They don't reflect the UW system, UW Board of Regents, the
Christopher
state
Plummer.
of Wisconsin, Christopher Plummer, and UW Stevens Point.
The Magic School Bus.
I don't think I missed any. Yeah. Magic School Bus.
Miss Frizzle.
Yeah.
Whatever the chameleon's name
With
was.
the frizz? No way. Wasn't it Liz? Wasn't the chameleon Liz?
Was that it?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, wow. Those are good old days. Good old days.
We are so off topic today. All right.
Yeah.
Other Skyrim news, and this was one of the coolest things I think I heard like in recent times about it, and it's Todd Howard was talking this up. There's
He's the
something called
owner.
Yes,
or
of Bethesda.
guy, the owner
He's
of
the
Bethesda
director, I think.
Softworks.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the owner of Bethesda. He's the owner of Bethesda Softworks.
But he's talking up this thing called Radiant AI, and supposedly what this is going to cause is the AI of the game is, depending on the situation around it, going to draft up quests for you.
Yeah.
So, like, if there are plants you haven't found or something like that, like, the local alchemist will make a quest where it's like, I need you to go out and identify plants for me, and you'll go out and you'll find new types of
If you
plants.
want,
haven't
or you
gotten.
could just murder him.
Yeah, exactly. But these are totally, like, optional quests.
Radiant AI.
But it will be infinite. They will go on forever. Like, as long as there's a world for it to make you do stuff in, it will make you, like, it'll give you objectives, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Because
that
those
would
were
be-
already very long games, and now no one is ever going to be able to say they totally beat Skyrim.
No, because you can't unless you killed everybody. You could
This
go
is
around-
true.
You could kill every essential and non-essential NPC.
But then it brings up your definition of winning.
That's
Getting into
true.
philosophical stuff inside games.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the only person left on planet, did you win? Did you win?
Wow.
That's
My
a-
mind is-
that's-
my
Really,
mind
what
is
it
blown.
depends on is if you
That's
break
a-
your
that's a
glasses
game
when you're in the
theory.
library. Yeah, because then, I mean, you had all
You
the
can't
time.
read.
There was enough time.
There was enough time
It's
to
not
read all the
fair.
books. That episode with the pigs.
Yes.
Um,
Twilight Zone references, by the way,
Yes.
in case we're just out nerding even our own audience at this point.
But the Radiant AI it's fantastic. Every single person has their own set plan of things to do.
They have a job, like a
have
full-time job.
They go home. They get money for their family. If you destroy their job, they don't have money to feed their family. There's children in the game now. They have all the Radiant AI stuff. I mean, everybody has a job. Everybody has a life. So when you have a quest that you knew you have to burn somebody's house down,
You're burning a
affecting
person's house
You're
down,
burning
basically.
a family's
Yeah.
house down. And so not only are you're engrossing the player into this character as much as you can, and there's a lot of games where you can be the baddest person in the world.
And you won't feel anything, really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But now they're trying to make it where you will.
Being a bad character is going to have some repercussions.
Like I know the Dark Brotherhood, which is a group of quests.
I went through that in
game.
Oblivion and felt pretty much nothing, mostly because when a poorly,
I couldn't do
yeah,
it.
a poorly voice-acted Imperial Guard's chasing you down after every murder, it's just
Stop
funny
right there,
instead.
Imperial scum.
Yeah. I fought mud crabs more vicious than you.
You should have paid the fine.
Oh, I love that game.
Oh, and now we got another one coming out. We've waited 6 years.
Though, I will say, the quotes might go down a little bit. Because terrible things, I think, stick out in your mind a little bit more effectively than well-executed lines, honestly. It is way easier to remember bad things. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I hope they say
Yeah.
the same line, but with better voice actors.
Well, I'm hoping there's no mud crabs in the tundra. I mean, I'd like to guess. There might be. We'll
That'd just be
see.
ridiculous.
Well,
They're-
when you go up far enough north, there's water.
I guess, yeah, there are, and there are different
here
zones.
even here in the world of human us.
Human
Earth,
us?
The Earth. I couldn't remember the term.
What do you call the real world? IRL.
Earth. I mean, the Arctic Circle. I mean, there's a fair bit of water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Most of it's
really
frozen
cold,
most of the year, but I
but
mean,
some of it isn't, and that's the same point.
Tis called an
there might be
ocean.
enough. There might be enough water for mud
there
crabs.
are though. Yeah,
Less
there are
Alaskan
Arctic.
crabs.
Yeah, I was about to say there are Arctic species of crabs. They live deep water.
There you go.
Are we talking about crabs right now? guys?
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, real ones. But they also stated that titles and stuff will be a lot better in this game, because I know there's a lot of games where you get a title, it's worthless. So like I know World of Warcraft was one thing that you can get. There's like 300 titles you can get. It's just an extra little couple letters before your name.
Yeah.
In
In this, it actually affects your status in the world.
because people will walk up to you and say, "Hey, you're the hero of Quach," or whatever.
Yep. Though they did that to a certain extent in Oblivion as well.
Yeah, but they never did anything with it.
Yeah.
They walked.
Well,
up to
no.
you, they said that
They
but
did that also,
it didn't
though,
change what they
in
think about
towns that you sealed an Oblivion Gate outside of. The
Yeah.
people there liked you more, and the shops, because of that, sold to you better. So it did have an effect, but it wasn't as much of a dialogue effect, so much as it was just it changed a couple settings right up. It, made everyone's disposition 100, and because of that, you could sell better.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but
I think the craziest thing so far that I've heard about, and they haven't made it totally clear, is as how cities are going to be in this, because there's going to be like sieges of towns where you can like attack a town or you can defend a town, and like what you do affects what happens in the city, and that sounds so much cooler than just having big hubs where you go to get a quest and then you go out into the real world and go do the quest and then come back.
yeah, I think there are 5 major cities, in this game. And then there's a bunch of tinier ones, and then obviously villages everywhere, because I know Oblivion had tons of little villages. And I don't really know. I tried to look up some stuff about what you just said there. I had never even heard of that.
It's really only been kind of mentioned in passing. I remember it was like I think a month ago on like Rock Paper Shotguns. I saw
You can
an
have a
article.
job?
Yeah, you can actually become like a logger if you need to make some extra gold.
We go chop down an entire forest.
I am sticking by my
Or you need a
idea.
destruction mage and just burn the
Yeah.
whole forest.
I'm saying. He said that won't get you any money. You need to bring back the wood. I'm just saying.
What about
You wouldn't be doing a job
sell
very well.
charcoal?
It's possible. That would be insanely insightful of them if they actually did that. You're like, you could chop down the wood, or you could just burn it down to charcoal.
No, next
then
Wednesday
fuel the
we will
forge.
tell you if you are right. I will
All
burn a
right.
forest down just for you.
Ancient peoples need to barbecue too, guys.
This is true.
Well, I mean, they do that in Central Africa. They burn whole forests down and then take charcoal and sell it in markets. It's a horrible,
Which is, it's a
horrible
totally
thing.
great thing to do. We don't need forests.
especially those ancient forests that have been there for.
No, those are dangerous.
Well,
Scary
if
animals
there's
in
one
there.
thing I've learned about ancient forests is that they come back really fast. They spring back. It's amazing.
Yeah, but they're not ancient.
Super sarcasm. The sarcasm, disclaimer is needed.
Okay. We can keep talking about Skyrim.
We could, but honestly, I don't know how much more there is to say at this point. I mean, there's
Snow.
so much. Snow is going to be insane. I don't know if I have a computer to run that, though. I mean, I have a pretty nice computer. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to just totally max out this game, though. because there's going to be such crazy stuff. We talked about this earlier, but like snow will actually like accumulate realistically. They're treated as like particles that will fall down, and they'll go down the mountain until they reach like a point at which they'll pool up, and once that pools up too much, snow will roll over that and go further down the mountain, and it's
you can have
crazy.
avalanches and stuff like that, just dynamically. Like you don't have to be near it; it's happening.
I want to know if snow can actually like cause you to be like harmed by an avalanche and stuff like that. Because if it's an adjustable setting, it seems odd that you would be able to turn it on and suddenly you have a new hazard. That'd be a little different to me. I don't know. I
don't know. One of the first thing I'm doing is I'm opening the console and I'm just dumping as much snow as I can on the ground. That's what I'm doing.
Just drop like 80 inches of snow, just boom in a blanket.
Yeah. Well, we can move on to the next.
We're going to talk about this pretty much all week next week, or all show next week.
Well, next week one thing I can mention now.
We'll start doing reviews.
We want your reviews. I mean,
absolutely.
We've been getting reviews in from
honestly starting on
people.
Friday on Facebook. We would love to see reviews. Like I want as many people to talk about this as we can.
You can put them on our Facebook page, or you can put them on the 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming Reddit page, or we have a subreddit for our show.
We got like 8 readers already because it's really hard to promote it's hard to promote a subreddit.
It is.
And for some reason, my upvotes don't stick. Every time I refresh it, my upvotes disappear. I'm not very happy about it.
It's 90terabytes.reddit.com. So if you wanted to, you can post your reviews on there, and we upvote or downvote your reviews, and we talk about your reviews.
There'll probably be a lot of upvotes, honestly. I can't see downvoting anybody.
If you can keep your English to English, and not English.
And not English.
So
I like double negatives.
Yeah. Just please put it in English.
That was not English.
I would like it in English. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we put your reviews up there. We'll all talk about them and lots of comments. We have a Battlefield 3 review we'll hopefully be getting to here in a little bit. We'll talk about from one of our listeners. Yeah, you can just do it right there, or you can put it on the facebook.com/90terabytes. You can like us too if you want to. We'd love to have as much conversations with you as much as possible over either of those two things. Yeah.
Yeet. All right. I think I was about to say, I think we finally hit our Skyrim threshold for this particular show. And now we're going to move into something that was pretty much the craziest story I read all day. In France, over the course of this weekend, I couldn't find an exact day on when this happened, which I was kind of bummed about. But a van carrying 6,000 copies of Modern Warfare 3 was attacked by a car full of people who used tear gas to stop the van, robbed all of the copies of the game, and then ran off with them, making off with what's about 400,000 fun euros worth of video games. And if that's not enough, because that's already absolutely insane. That is a video game heist, not robbery. A second one happened on the 5th, so this Saturday, where another about 380,000 fun euros was also stolen. So apparently Modern Warfare 3 is a game that is very fun to steal. I don't know if people like to act out the game so they can get the game. I don't know what it is. A lot of people like to act out the game
in Denver, I believe. Oh, no, Aurora, Colorado. A man threatened to blow up at the Best Buy because he could not get his copy. A 31-year-old Lamorin Sarr was arrested early Tuesday.
A 31-year-old?
Yep. He threatened to blow up the Best Buy in Aurora, Colorado because he could not get his copy of Call of Duty.
Can't he just play any of the other ones?
Yeah, I mean,
it's the same thing.
Isn't this just essentially like a map pack, pretty much?
You know what, though? The funniest thing is I was watching some people who have already been playing, and they've been pointing out something that kind of really lame to me, and I can't believe it hasn't been brought up in the reviews. They, recycled buildings.
Yeah, there are whole buildings that were from Call of Duty 1.
That they just put in there.
That are same exact. Even the broken windows are exactly the same.
Well, I guess when you push it up, for a year.
When you know that millions of people are going to buy your game no matter what you do, you're just going to push it out as fast as you can.
And they only had maybe 8-9 months to actually make it.
Yeah.
So first of all, they have to minimize the amount of people making the game to make as much money as possible. They have to minimize as much as they possibly can. And recycling code is something a lot of companies do, but so blatantly.
Yeah. Honestly, though, at this point, I really think
change the color of the building, not even fix the broken windows.
I really think that people are basically at this point paying $60 for a rebalance.
It's a map pack.
Well,
rebalance.
I think it's more. Yeah, it has more to do with tweaking, like little things like a reload and all that. I don't get why people. It's like buying a new sports game to me. It's like, oh, now you can do 2 extra evasions when you're trying to run the ball, so you're gonna pay for a full game. It makes very little sense. Any game that starts getting made every single year, it's going to lose its quality to me, no matter what. I really don't think you can effectively that's what happened with all the Guitar Hero games. They were cranking them out so fast that after a certain point you were like, oh my gosh, just stop, man.
There's 3 a year at one point with those?
I think there were actually 3 a year. I really think when they got up to 5, they were just flying out, and it's just insane.
Well, now that
and they were
making dead too, so I mean.
Well, I mean, they weren't even making full games after a while. They were like, oh, this is the Aerosmith edition. This is the Beatles edition. This is
Metallica.
just any band you can think of. It's just random bands. I don't really understand why they
Beatles
did that.
edition was actually pretty good.
But that was Rock Band, to be fair. Yeah. Who was the people who actually made the first Guitar Hero. Yeah. So people who had, inventive minds.
Yeah, just a little bit. And the Beatles said they wouldn't have their music in other games, so they had to make their own game for that, which makes sense. The Beatles are kind of the number one money-making band, I think, probably next to U2, and the Monkees and etc.
The Monkees?
I think the Beatles beat the Monkees
a lot.
Probably U2. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, I know, but they're all up there.
I think they definitely beat the Monkees.
Yeah, of all the bands,
Monkees
to pick.
had 3 movies.
I guess. Josie and the Pussycats had a running TV show, and they didn't gross that much.
Janet, wasn't that another one?
Yes, it was.
Another nice story coming out of Kansas City. A 27-year-old man reported that he was driving to a local GameStop, picked up his pre-ordered copy of Modern Warfare 3, and was followed home by a man in an SUV. The man in the SUV got out of the...
held him up.
The SUV pointed the gun at the man and demanded the game. That's all he wanted. Not even his wallet, just the game.
I would like to point out, this didn't happen at all with Battlefield.
No, this didn't. The man shot at him because the man refused to hand the copy of Modern Warfare 3 over.
How important is your game? Not only that someone would try to shoot somebody else just to get the game, but you'd be willing to have someone fire at you just so you don't have to go back and buy another copy 3 days later? Good Lord.
Did they run out of copies?
No,
I'm assuming they did.
This isn't the best part. It's not even the best part. One shot was fired. Nobody was hurt. The police found the man, David Morales, 18, waiting in line at another GameStop for the game.
Gosh. So his first plan was to rob someone, and then that failing, he'll just go pick up his pre-order?
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
It's easier to rob him, I guess.
If he was waiting in line, I would assume he had a pre-order, which I would assume means he already bought the game. Why is it worth robbing someone for something you already paid for?
Okay. I know.
Whatever.
I have no
I don't have
words.
a criminal mind. I can't tell you.
I can't tell you anything about it either. I mean, I really
That's
don't know.
absolutely insane.
He was charged.
I've literally never heard anything.
All the people we're talking about today are innocent until proven guilty.
This is true.
He was charged with attempted robbery and armed criminal action.
Did they also charge him with needing a life at that point? I mean, I play a lot of video games, but a gun?
Yeah, go outside, dude.
He was outside.
Oh, I guess.
This is fair.
Stay
See,
inside.
that's where the real
Stay
danger happens. He
inside.
should just be back home playing.
Yeah.
And this would keep him safe.
Yeah, we had mentioned the 2 trucks getting robbed in Paris, France.
Were both of them in Paris?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. One was used tear gas, and the other one they just robbed.
To them, at least,
guns.
Congratulations on foresight. They made a good heist. I mean, they pulled a van over, tear gassed, and then made out with almost $500,000.
All they probably had to do was walk up to the guy in the truck, say, "Get out."
Yeah.
You wouldn't even have to tear gas him.
It sounds cooler.
But then it's not as epic.
It sounds like they're actually imitating the game that they're stealing.
It really does, which probably isn't going to do a whole lot of good for our PR, I gotta say. if you're doing this elaborate...
Did Activision already have PR?
You make a very fair point. And yeah, no. Did you hear...
But then again, I haven't seen people getting charged more than once for this game.
Did you hear way back when the kid hunted down the guy from Counter-Strike? I think we talked about this, didn't we?
Oh, there's been so many murders.
Yeah, he hunted him down and stabbed him because he knifed him in a game of Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Counter-Strike. Which, I mean, it was if you can't lose a game, don't play Counter-Strike, first off. I played Counter-Strike for years, and I got stomped in pubs all day, every single day. That's all that happened. I mean, people were so good at that game.
Yeah, I'd stop playing it because you couldn't beat them.
I just learned to lose. I just learned to be happy when I ran into some random noob who I could shoot in the head.
Just try your best and have fun. That's
exactly.
That's
whatever.
games they're all about, man.
Yeah. Needless to say, but then remember, I think Black Ops brought this many crazy people out too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't remember this
what-
being any different there.
honestly, though, it's just like anything else that you can obsess over. People will obsess over it. I mean, people obsess over things like popcorn, so you really can't stop it. But it's just kind of baffling sometimes when you actually have to look at it.
Yeah. So Kansas City, stay classy. That's all I got.
Stay classy.
That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I don't know. Just Call of Duty. We don't have any reviews for it. For many of us here, I've heard good and bad.
Yeah, I've heard it's. I looked at the Metacritic, and it was the
Metacritic
dumbest
is fairly
thing.
high.
It's just this total like indication of fanboydom and like angry fanboydom. That's like the new trend. And I don't know if it's been balanced out yet, but the critic score was like 88, which it was a fair rating for a game that was
now.
okay. The user score was like 0.8 because like
2.6
tons of people
now.
just gave it a 0 and they're like, "Oh, I love Call of Duty, but this game was terrible." And like, how can you even give a game a 0?
That's like no games.
Yeah, like I would give Yonoid better than a 0, and that like is like legendarily terrible. I don't.
Snake on your Nokia phone's better than 0. I mean,
But
it's
I mean,
true.
that's what happens when when you let everybody review.
Yeah.
People are pretty extreme about their reviews. People either have a perfect game
Here's
or
a nice
just
little
the
review
worst game
from-
ever.
Here's a nice review of a 4 out of 10. He claims he had a 4-hour campaign, lack of innovation, old engine, recycled models, textures, sound files, and gameplay the same as Modern Warfare 2. If you look at it as the game as it by itself, it isn't bad, but if you look at it as the third game of the Modern Warfare series, it is a very expensive update.
Yep.
it's a map pack. That's all it is. I mean,
It's a map pack that you have to pay for map packs for. I mean, it's not just a map pack. It's like a map pack template more so. It's a medium for which you can pay extra to play more maps. Which is why I probably will actually never end up playing Modern Warfare 3. Like, I don't know anyone who owns it, and I'm not buying it.
Pointer has it.
Who does?
The Pointer has it. It's right over there right now.
I might play it briefly then.
Yeah,
we'll see.
we might walk over there right after this and
Yeah.
play it.
my neighbor has it. I'll probably borrow it. I won't.
Yeah, I'm never gonna buy it. I'll rent it if anything.
I probably won't even
I
rent
already
it,
have
honestly.
Modern Warfare 2.
I mean, I'm not even an achievement whore. So
Can we say that?
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that.
I love the FCC for that. They
If you're
they
offended
drop
by
us
that, I'm
for,
sorry, but
yeah,
that's the actual
They
term
drop us
people
for the
use.
dumbest things, but we can say words like that.
I don't know. That's the actual term. So there's no other way I could say
It's
that.
true. Yeah.
Achievement.
Hunter.
Achievement lady of the night.
Achievement Lady of the Night. Achievement Call Girl. Well, we are about close to the halfway. Do we want to do our song?
We can do
This song is not going to be a brain racker, I'm assuming, but it's going to be more of an exercise in how fast you can dial our number, which at this point I would like to think is relatively quickly if you've called in before.
I know there's some people that call in pretty much instantaneously.
Yep. I don't know if you even... honestly, I don't think we need to say anything about this game at all.
No,
like,
'cause
we're
if
not going to give a
saying-
single hint.
It's on
Don't even talk about it at all.
It's on
like
multiple
that.
consoles.
Okay, there we go. Yep, it's available for multiple things. That's all we can really say at this point because you're gonna get it. I'm sorry. I mean,
And we're
yeah. How did you know? I loved that game. I did not love that game.
we want specifics. Do not say the series. We would like the actual
Yes.
one it's from.
We would like exactly what it's
the
from.
phone number is 715-346-2696.
2696.
And we would love just the answer of the series and or just the name of the game, which is a qualifier for it also.
And as always, there is a gift certificate for the Tech Lounge at
$10
stake.
fun dollars.
Yes, which you can either redeem here or not redeem, receive here or meet us at the Tech Lounge or
Yep.
anything
We'll
really.
give it to you at
Anywhere
Tech
you can
Lounge,
find
or
us.
We'll give it to you at 90 FM.
Or telekinetically if you're good at that.
We only hold on to it for 2 weeks, so if you don't pick it up within 2 weeks or tell us that you're going to pick it up within 2 weeks, you lose it.
You don't
Sorry.
lose it per se. You could lose it and then win the one that we're going to add it to because when
We
that
just give it to
happens
the
we,
next
we bundle them up, yeah.
You don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
If you're awesome, you could just double up all the time. You could just like keep not picking it up and then keep getting it week after week.
That's a gamble.
And then just I mean, you could always lose all of it at some point, but I'm just saying.
Sure. Yeah, give us a call, 715-346-2696 with your answers to the song. The song is fantastic, and it's really, really, really
Super
awesome.
fantastic.
Really, really awesome. It's opening. Hold on. There we go.
All right.
It's long, too. So.
Yes, very long. Well, not very long. Like song length.
Yeah.
But I believe that's pretty much all we can say. I want to do all this introduction to it, but I can't because it just would make it too easy. Let's just fade out, I guess. You are listening to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative for gaming. It's weird setting myself up for that, by the way.
I mean, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
You didn't let me interject you.
Sorry.
So, yeah, here's the song, 715-346-2696.
90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming is brought to you by
The Tech Lounge, offering the world's best next-generation and retro game systems, along with great tasting Fair Trades coffee, espresso, jet smoothies, and energy drinks. Open Tuesday through Saturday, noon to midnight, Sunday, 2 p.m. till 10, and closed on Monday.
Located at 1036 Main Street in downtown Stevens Point.
Visit them at the web at www.techloungesp.com. The Tech Lounge, where the future is yesterday.
It's a modern age arcade.
90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming is brought to you by Gaming Generations in Stevens Point, located at 135 Division Street. Phone number 715-254-9990.
Gaming Generations features new releases and a wide selection of used games. They also have the classics you grew up with and the know-how to get your console up and running again.
That's Gaming Generations in Stevens Point, your source for gaming.
90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming does not represent the views of WWSP, 90 FM, or the University of Wisconsin school system. The views expressed and the information given in this broadcast can be used at the sole risk of the listener.
I mean, let's face it, the opinion of these two guys is about as pristine as Wikipedia. After all, their source is the internet. And now, back to the show. Fight!
Hello, and welcome back to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative. I keep setting myself up for gaming, I guess. I don't know. It's very strange to do that when I say it.
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing that today.
I'm sorry.
It's just
but
you, not me.
I am Taylor, the one who's bumbling over himself, alongside Q over here.
I
know.
Wow.
I'm just taking over. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then we have a guest here.
Hello.
Would you like to say your own name since I'm just stealing
Cameron.
them? All right. And we are a video game talk show.
We talk video games, video game companies, video games that are awesome, video games that suck, video game people who play video games,
People who make video games.
Video game museums,
People who hate video games.
video game music,
Video game controllers.
video
We haven't
game
talked about it that
people-
much. We
people
could do
who-
like a Mad Cat story.
people
We
who-
should do a tribute to them. They're awesome.
people who do sports commentating for video games. We've talked about them before.
We have actually. Like Husky. He's really cool.
Yeah.
Anywho.
People who think they're awesome that play video games. Cliffy B.
Anywho.
No, he owns. Doesn't he? Isn't he like the one guy in charge of?
id? I thought he worked at id.
No, he's not id.
Are you sure?
It's the people who made Gears of War. What's that company?
Microsoft.
No.
No,
Gears of War?
no.
Gears of War was not id. It was who? Yeah, we can Wikipedia that. The beauty
Gears
of it.
Of War.
But we just got back from a little intermission there, and you heard pretty much the most intense song ever to back a video game. That was, of course, the theme to the game that we won't shut up about, Skyrim, which I'm not going to stop listening to for a while.
No.
I'm really hoping that occurs multiple times in the game. They put a lot of work into that. There's, I think, 90 people singing that. It is a massive choir in this big hall. And Todd Howard,
it's 30
we talked
people
about
that they
before.
covered three.
Yes, it's 90 voices strong, is what it is. But Todd Howard, his goal for it, he said, was a barbarian choir, which fits it very well, very well.
One of the guesses right off the bat was the Oblivion theme, and that's the previous game in the same series. So the theme to Oblivion is the same theme to Skyrim, the same to Daggerfall, the same theme to Morrowind. They're all the same theme. And Arena had the same theme too, but they've changed it up a little bit. Like this one, there was a lot more deeper brass and violins, and I know they had a lot of like big drums.
And
like,
the
that were size
vocals
of
are in
tables.
Dragon, which is pretty interesting.
They actually wrote the song in a different language.
They wrote it in Dragon, and apparently It makes sense in Dragon and English and rhymes in both.
Yeah.
Which is
when you translate it back
nuts.
to English, it still rhymes.
And apparently he didn't really expect it to actually happen. He gave it to the writer and he said if you can do this, then that'd be awesome. And he said he came back the next day and just threw it down on his desk. He's like, there you go. No problem.
Yep. Actually, no, I think he said it the weekend. He went home to his house over the weekend,
okay.
and he just had an epiphany as he was drinking a cup of coffee.
Cup of coffee, is that what they call it?
Yeah. Or I don't know, he was drinking a flagon of mead. I have no idea what he was doing.
Warm mead.
That's one of the most epic songs you'll ever listen to for a video game.
No, that song is insane. It just makes you feel like you basically need to go fight
Well,
things.
I mean, even the opener to Fallout was outrageous.
Yeah. Though I gotta say, it is the first snow, and it's huge right now, and listening to a song that's basically like Nordic Warriors, the snow is helping. It's helping
a lot.
we
were running around outside just yelling. Actually, he was yelling that.
Taylor was
yelling
several times.
That multiple times.
Yeah. I'm sure people on campus just love us at this point.
I don't know, that lady that was walking in front of us seemed kind of, freaked out by it, but... I know, I screamed.
What's
life without random public spectacles?
Cool. Yeah, that'd scare somebody.
Yeah, it would, I guess. This is true.
She kind of probably was, alerted that we were behind her.
And then she turned around and saw two people who were 5'6" and scrawny, and she was like, oh, never mind. I'm okay.
5'7".
Oh, I'm sorry.
Scary guys.
Yeah,
Scary.
we can be intimidating. What can I say?
Of course.
My large stature and broad shoulders.
Gears of War was Epic Games and Microsoft.
Yes.
Epic.
Okay. Epic. Yep.
So yeah, that was the nice sidetrack for the half second there. What is our next story, sir?
Our next story, we actually have a little bit of a selection here, but because it is right after the break, and we sometimes adhere to this, and other times randomly do our own thing, we're going to put Minecraft Corner here and have a very brief one. 1.9 is coming out on the release date, right? That's when 1.9 is officially out?
That's
the full version.
That's 1.0 is coming out.
But I thought 1.0 was essentially what 1.9 is, right?
Yeah.
That, we originally had said that it was 11/11, and it was, but it got pushed back recently to the 18th.
Minecon, too.
Yes. It got pushed back to the 18th, and at that point we will have a full release of the game. But that date has not even come, and Minecraft just hit the 4 million purchased copies mark.
And I think Notch was saying that 10 million people played it, so that means 6 million people pirated.
16 million played the free version.
So that's basically stating 12 million people pirated his game.
Well, no, also the free creative mode that was available.
Who played the free mode then went and pirated the game.
Yes, probably.
Free mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I have quite a few friends that pirated it, but Notch doesn't care.
Yep, Notch didn't even make a big deal about hitting 4 million. His entire post was 4 million. The word was mixed together. It was 4 MILYAY. That was all it was. That was his rejoice for selling 4 million copies of a game. That
anywhere ranging from 10 to 25.
I recently it was kind of cool to see it again. It was the post in the original forum of the game being made. And he when he put it out there, it was nothing. He didn't expect anything out of this. He was talking. He's yeah, I made this game. I kind of got some inspiration from Infiniminer and stuff like that. And I was throwing the code out here and seeing if anybody would be interested in it and if anyone had anything to say about it. And all the questions are oh, are you ever going to do multiplayer and all these little things. And so much of it happened. And it's cool. It's cool to be able to actually look back over the whole.
That's really where he gets all his ideas. That one thread.
It probably is. Everyone's gonna start collecting royalties.
Because I know he's asked quite a few of the mod developers for their information for their mod. Because I know the shears and stuff, the zip lines will be eventually here because he got the code for the zip line guy.
It's a very community-driven game, which is very cool.
So I mean, there's lots. I mean, baby animals. That was an idea from one guy. The pistons.
The boss mobs that are apparently going to be introduced.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff. I mean,
people have been talking about boss mobs since 1.3 though. That has been something everyone wanted for so long.
Well, you gotta have in a game like this. Not everybody wants free openness.
That's true, but the other thing is that people it's been out for so long that it also has kind of lost that mystery of the other, where you're in this whole new world and walking around and everything you see is the first time you've seen it. You're wow, that's amazing. And now that everyone's familiarized themselves with the world, they want content. And that's what he's been doing. And he's doing a pretty cool job of it.
Oh, all of them are. I think there's only 8 of them working on it.
I haven't really gotten to see a stronghold yet. I spent a long time trying to hunt down a stronghold. Right now, it's almost impossible.
How long did you guys try to find one?
A while. A few hours,
But you're not
3 or
playing
4.
on because there's only one in the entire map.
It's 3.
No, the version you're playing.
Oh, it is 1. You're right. Yep.
The version I played was
the pre-releases. That would no, it's not infinite yet.
It is now. Pre-5 was infinite.
Oh, pre-5. Okay, because I knew about as of pre-release 4, It was 3 on the entire map, and it was between like 900 and 1,200 blocks from your spawn or something like that. But didn't find one, but they're going to be able to be way easier to find because not only will it be infinite on the map, but you can throw something called the Eye of Ender, which is also how you get into the new realm that he's putting in, and that'll point towards the nearest one, which will be cool. Because those sound like fun, honestly. But I really can't make any statement on them because I have never seen one.
I think many of our listeners don't care anymore.
This is true. Very true. All right.
Until the game comes out. I mean, it's been so long now.
Yes. Well, it's also, I'm almost happy they chose to move it back a week because you can't really try to put out your indie game at the same time as, like, the biggest title of, a long time, of, like, the last 2 years.
The game that's already nominated for every single award, Skyrim.
Yeah. It's hard to compete.
Yeah, pretty much. Actually, I think there are 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 12 employees at Mojang.
Wait, they're still only at that? I thought they'd stepped up more than that.
Nope, got Notch, Jeb, and a bunch of other people, business developers, art directors, Notch's best friend, which is Jacob.
What does he do there? He's my best friend.
He's employed.
He keeps me company.
He's making scrolls.
Oh, okay. You mean the Elder Scrolls?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, we talked about that, right? Notch won.
Yes.
Notch won his lawsuit against Bethesda. The guys who make the Elder Scrolls were suing him because he was making a game called Scrolls.
Which is really a win for the justice system at that point.
Yeah, because they claimed that they owned the word Scrolls.
Which makes total sense, yeah. When you hear of a game called Scrolls, you immediately go, oh yeah, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion or the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. That must be
and
it.
nobody calls those games the Elder Scrolls unless you're talking about the series.
There are people who didn't even know about the series before who keep calling this Oblivion 5, which drives me nuts, by the way.
Well, George Lucas owns the word droid, don't you?
Yeah, that one's true.
I did not know that, actually.
Because he was the first person to invent that word.
Scrolls,
the word scroll has been around forever.
Yeah, I mean,
but droid was a brand new word.
Yeah.
So, like, Google has to pay him for the use of droid.
Huh.
Yeah, Skywalker Ranch makes a ton of money.
I bet they do.
Yeah, when we've talked before about Cobalt, not much more information has ever come out. We're talking about Mojang, the company.
I hope it doesn't get swept under the rug.
It shouldn't.
Okay.
It's being made by another game studio, not Mojang.
Oh,
Mojang
yeah, they're publishing it. Yep.
Publishing it. So when I make my game, I'm gonna have Mojang publish it.
Godspeed. Well, I mean, they're pretty giving about that.
Yeah.
It seems like he likes
and then
encouraging new people.
Definitely, Scrolls will be coming out probably sometime in the middle of next year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Mid to late 2012, third or fourth quarter.
Yeah. Okay, what's our next news story, sir?
Well, we've talked about this a few times before, and it's kind of a continuing trend, but WoW has charted another loss of 800,000 subscribers, which sounds huge, and is huge, but that pushes them down to 10.3 million. So, I mean, they still have they have more people playing their game than, like, any other game for MMOs. And they are hoping, this is what they've said.
10 million people.
Exactly.
That's a lot of players.
But losing $800,000, 800 grand. Sorry, consistently, even at 10.3 million, you'll pretty quickly whittle down. But
I mean, you look at it. I was a player from the beginning. I know a lot of people who were players from the beginning. None of us play anymore.
Yeah. So
when you lose the people who started your game, you're never going to be able to hold on to new people.
Yeah.
Because there's no way you got that camaraderie that started with my guild and my etc. was so deep and engrossed that when we started leaving, everybody left. Because when new people join a guild, they don't have that. I don't have that same thing. I don't know that my friend Amber has 3 kids and etc.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
No, they're games that they rely on you already being integrated into the game almost. Like you have to be very engrossed in order for it to even be something that's fun. You have to max out a character before you can even really access the true game with that, which keeps out a lot of new players.
I've been in my guild for 4 years. I still talk to a few of them. I haven't played in almost a year. I still talk to some of my guild members. Now, I mean, I still remember guild members from previous guilds that I was in almost 5-6 years ago. That Amber in question, I know 2 Ambers. That Amber in question was in a guild that I was on 6 years ago almost. I mean, the people that I know from this game, I'm very happy I know them. But I left, and a lot of them left.
But Blizzard's saying, I don't know if I believe this really, that they're hoping that Pandaria is going to try to bring back some interest and bring in new players instead. But I don't really
that's
see that
bringing
happening.
in new players. You've already lost the people who made your game what it is.
Kind of. But
I started playing this game because I heard that other people played this game because they played it to have the life in it.
But as much as that existed, when you're dealing with 10.3 million people, those people are actually a core of the gaming population of this particular game, but it's not the majority at all. Most of it are people who are going to come and go because, I mean, when you have that many people, not every one of those people is going to get stuck into World of Warcraft because people have other things to do for the most part, and people just try out games. And if you can, once you've already lost your main group, keep having new people keep like flowing in at a pace where more people are coming in than are going out, then you're fine. And so it's not about necessarily having, huge retention so much as having more interest in the game, which is what they're trying to do with this, but I don't think they'll succeed because, I mean, there's so much other stuff to focus on. If you're really looking for an MMO, there's, the Old Republic coming out soon, and in other types of games,
they just
there's so much going on.
They just started inviting tons and tons of people to the beta.
Yep. Bad timing.
Yeah.
You really shouldn't do that. All of November, they shouldn't.
You see some of the posts? You can play in the beta for the Old Republic
on 11/11.
On 11 to 11/13.
Yep.
So you only play the weekend that Skyrim comes out. That's the only time you can play the Star Wars beta.
Which seems like a very oddly pushy move to make with your beta. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know. I've been in the beta for almost 5 months now. I play it every once in a while. Yeah. I don't know. I know there's a lot of my friends have started getting into the beta.
But why would you do it on this November of all things, though? This November has so many games coming out.
Their game comes out in December.
Is it really release date in December? Wow, I didn't realize it was coming up that close.
Yeah, it's actually coming out.
So at this point, it's less of a beta and it's become a demo at this stage because they've got to be pretty close within a month.
There's still some pretty big stuff missing.
And there's still some pretty big stuff, but I mean, it's not like
when I first started the beta, there was major things missing.
Exactly.
Pushing a little close, then, aren't they?
Well, dude, Skyrim finished. I think it was on last Friday.
Yeah,
they went gold on last Friday, so they push it very close, and that's why so many games have pushbacks all the time.
That's why when they finished Modern Warfare 3 6 months ago.
Yeah. But also Modern Warfare 3 doesn't count because they don't have to make a game. Yeah, they just kind of have to cut apart old games.
They cut apart old games, throw a couple new ideas, like the new, attack things and the new
change
modes.
Reload speeds.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Make new hard metal to go behind you every time you level up so that you can feel cool.
A couple extra guns to throw in there that you have to get through pre-orders.
Which I still don't understand.
I mean, the advertising campaign for Modern Warfare 3 has to be half the budget of the game.
Yeah, I've seen posters all over the place of a dude standing there looking downward gloomily holding a gun. I can't tell which game it's for, though, ever at this point.
No.
They all look like Battlefield 3 or Modern Warfare, or Battlefield, 3 or Modern Warfare 3 every time.
Yeah. I don't know. It's sad.
It is.
To see gaming companies make that much money.
But I mean,
I don't foresee Modern Warfare 3 getting more than Black Ops, and it doesn't look like it's going to.
But also, I mean, that's in any entertainment, though. When you're dealing with the biggest stuff, it's going to be pretty watered down because that's trying to appeal to so many people that if you try to specialize, you kick out people.
Yeah, that's true.
People just busting in, conversating with us.
A majority of the subscribers for World of Warcraft were lost in China. There's no really...
They got lost in China?
Yeah, it's not available in China anymore.
Oh, yeah. I thought you meant like they were in China and they can't find their way.
Oh, yeah, they all went to China and just disappeared. No.
They normally have
Political
an increase.
Prisoners.
They normally have an increase of the year of how long WoW has been up. They normally have an increase of subscriptions around December, so it might come back up. The decreased profit from all the games in development, no launch is occurring. So, first of all, World of Warcraft and Blizzard in itself going to be losing a lot of money because they have a loss in profit because the revenue is just not there. And there will be 2 major releases next year, obviously StarCraft, and if they ever tell us what Project Titan is, Project Titan, the person in charge just got fired.
Really?
Yes.
Did they say anything about it?
No, and the person in charge was the man who created World of Warcraft.
He must have done something pretty bad then.
He had to have, or he quit and they just called it, they fired him.
Do you think maybe right now all they have is a name, Project Titan? Like, the secret is that they just don't have a game yet.
Not even an idea. Just
No,
So he finally got fired because they were like, you need to do something.
Maybe they sat in a room and they tried to think of new ideas for days and days and never came up with anything. It's possible a lot of ideas have already been taken.
It's very true.
I mean, in the climate of this world where everything is completely controlled patent-wise, if you have one thing that's slightly like scrolls,
Yeah.
you get,
Gotta be careful not to use the word, like,
sued.
elder anywhere in there or anything like that.
I mean, the guy who was in charge of Project Titan was the man who invented most of the original dungeons in World of Warcraft, which were the epitome of what I loved of World of Warcraft. That's the reason I played.
I mean, that was the core of the game.
Exactly.
That was what
And
you
he
did.
created most of those boss fights and most of the ideas that fit all that stuff, and most of those are incredible for what they were and the technology they had. It was flawless.
Do you think maybe once Project Titan kind of clears up, we'd ever know anything about how someone like that? That's just. It's
No.
out of nowhere, too. We didn't hear anything about that before. It wasn't like,
They
oh, this guy's
never-
in danger of losing his job.
They never tell us anything.
That's true.
Notch
tells us things.
Yeah, Notch
Todd
tells
Howard
things
tells us
about-
things.
Blizzard's not good about telling us things they got rid of. Because when they got rid of StarCraft Ghost, which was for the Xbox, which was the first.
They got rid of that
shooter,
very slowly, though, because that
they
kept
didn't-
coming up.
and they didn't tell anybody what happened. They
That's
just
true.
Got rid of it.
Yeah.
And maybe it was a bad game. Maybe it wasn't fun. We'll never know because they're never going to tell us the information we need to know.
But they won't let us forget about the game, which is very strange. Like, they basically pretended that the game wasn't going to happen, and then they included Nova in StarCraft 2, which is a very bizarre move to me. I don't know.
The man who was let go from World of Warcraft was their senior level designer and the Warcraft design legend, John Statz. He created most of the original, most memorable raids from World of Warcraft, and as the news goes, they don't know why he was fired, but many are speculating, including PC Gamer and etc., that it's not good.
Well, I would assume not. I mean, he's probably been...
Not good as a company.
Oh.
The Blizzard not being good. A lot of people are rumoring that Blizzard may be having a mass layoff soon.
Do you think Blizzard's worrying about a crash at this point? Because if Project Titan doesn't flesh out and World of Warcraft starts to fizzle, I mean, they pretty much are going to rely on Diablo 3 being a huge success and the next installment of StarCraft. So that would put them on a little bit of a precarious zone to be.
They're done for.
Mason is quite certain they're gone.
I don't know. Blizzard being the second biggest video game company there is, because it's tied with Activision. They're
But I mean,
Activision Blizzard.
I think if they drop, I don't think Activision's going to hesitate to kind of squelter out that side of it.
They're
cut the
tied.
ties
I mean,
and-
they can't cut the ties. They've equal.
Well, not
shares.
cutting the ties, but they can play that side down a lot.
A lot of rumors have been floating, mass layoffs. That a few of the forum moderators are saying no, that there won't be mass layoffs. We won't discuss individual employees.
I would
But
assume they wouldn't. I mean, even if it was going to happen,
massive layoffs
yeah.
are just a rumor, according to one of the people, and another one of the major people who work on the forum said it's also a rumor, that it's not true. But yeah, we haven't heard anything about this game, and they've been talking about this game for almost 2.5 years. So maybe they haven't been able to flush anything out. I mean, World of Warcraft. When you talk about video games,
It's
World of
hard for
Warcraft
you.
is one of the
Yeah,
ones that
it's
comes up
hard to
first.
top yourself when you make a game like that.
Yeah, I mean, StarCraft 2 was successful.
It was
but
very
the amount
successful.
of money they spent on StarCraft 2 was unfathomable, and I don't know if they made it back.
Well, maybe through. I would assume the subscription fees in Korea probably helped a lot. I'm assuming that probably brought in a lot of income. But I guess it's possible that game was kind of a crash for him. But it was a pretty successful game. People that I knew who didn't really even play the first StarCraft played StarCraft 2. So they did a pretty good job of it. And I mean, StarCraft 2, Heart of the Swarm is just coming out, and people are very interested in it. There's already like a bunch of the lore getting fleshed out. I was just reading that earlier. Some of it looks really cool, actually. But I don't know, maybe they are worried about it. Because when you do think about all like the huge titles that are like in the future, you don't really think too much Blizzard stuff. Like even Diablo 3, which sounds very big, is kind of on the lower end of all these huge AAA games. People don't talk about it as much as a lot of the other games that are scheduled soon.
Yeah.
Is that in December too?
Which one?
Diablo 3. That's coming up, isn't it?
Or
No?
This is in the beta. They haven't given us a release date.
Okay.
I don't think they've given us a release date. But I mean, it's sad talking about a company that I devoted a good portion of my life to, and seeing it fizzle like this where they.
But that's how industries go, though. I mean, try to think back to some of the crazy games that you played back in the day. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but a lot of those developers just don't exist anymore.
Turbine is the ones making the Asheron's Call was a game I played as a kid. It was an MMO.
Yeah.
And Turbine is one of the people that are helping make Star Wars.
Oh.
What's the one that made GoldenEye?
GoldenEye, the first one?
The real GoldenEye.
Oh.
That was probably Nintendo itself.
Was it Nintendo itself?
GoldenEye, the game, please, Wikipedia.
Disambiguation.
Yeah. Rare made it.
Rare, okay.
Rare's still definitely around.
Though they're very different. They don't make the same kind of games at all anymore.
No,
Rare, they also did like Banjo-Kazooie, I think, and a few other very big games.
Donkey Kong Country.
Yep.
Microsoft bought them in 2002 for $375 million fund dollars.
Don't they make like sports games now?
Rare is now a subsidiary of Microsoft Studios. They just recently make the Colin McRae Rally series, the Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing.
They make the Sonic games.
Well,
so they lost a lot.
Well, they don't make the Colin McRae games anymore. Codemasters does those now.
Well, maybe Codemasters is also owned by Microsoft and then co-publish them between each other. The Conquer series was something they made. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, we're kind of running out of time, by the way. Do we want to finally start winding down?
We'll say our goodbyes. You're listening to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming. We are a video game talk show. We hope you
We were a video game talk show.
We hope you really love our show. If you did, you can like us on Facebook at facebook.com/90terabytes. You can also subscribe to our subreddit on 90terabytes.reddit.com. Yep. And I mean, we would love to have all of your input. If you've got any reviews for any game, it doesn't matter how old it is.
We would love to see all of them.
I mean, if you're getting Skyrim on Friday, I want to know what you know. If you got Modern Warfare yesterday and you absolutely love it, I want to know everything on every reason why you actually love that game. If you got Battlefield 3 last week, I want to know everything.
That's what we didn't get to, by the way. We didn't do the Battlefield 3 review. But we can bundle it in with all the reviews we're going to be doing next week, because that's pretty much going to be the whole show next week.
Yeah. If you go on to our subreddit, you can read one of our listeners' Battlefield 3 reviews. Both the multiplayer and the campaign review are separate. He gave it a fairly good score.
He gave it overall a pretty good score. It did have kind of the separation that you've been seeing in a lot of the reviews, where the single player got a very low score and the multiplayer, or a fairly low score, and the multiplayer got a very high score because it's, what the game is made for.
Yeah. And I mean that is what it's made for. I don't know. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We hope you really loved our show, because we absolutely love doing it for you. That's just one thing that we've always loved. And this show, we'll be here for here for a while. I know there's a lot of you out there that listen to us. We'll be at the Tech Lounge after this, partying it up, playing video games, and etc. The listener who won the award.
If they would like to meet us there, they might be. There are a lot. If they're not, though,
yep.
Yeah, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah, that's it. But that being the case,
let's get out of here.
Yep. Thank you for listening to 9 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming here on 90 FM, your only alternative
for gaming, and that was done properly.
Hey Taylor, do you have anything left you want to tell to our listeners?
We are not selling or distributing for commercial purpose any music you have heard on today's show.
All music, games, ideas, and content are the express copyright of their original and current owners.
We, 90FM, the UW Board of Regents, and WWSP do not own anything you have heard on today's show.
Hey, this is Wes Platt.
This is Taylor.
And this is Q.
And you're listening to 90 Terabytes of Alternative Gaming.
Only on WWSP, Stevens Point, 90 FM, your only alternative.
For gaming.